Well, thank you for joining us again on Coffee With. We're back with Cindy Thrana at the Big Blue House on Cherry Street. And we are now in what was kind of the family's private quarters, their day room, their breakfast, not so much of a formal room. But I have to say, even though you haven't really done a lot except take some grass cloth off the walls and stuff, I love this room. And I think a lot of it is, I like blue.
Yes.
And I love this fireplace. We can't see a lot of it because you've got furniture and stuff right in front of it right now, and then somebody sponge painted.
Yeah.
But talk to us about, there are a couple of things about this room that I've noticed that I haven't seen in some of the other rooms. One is the cove ceiling.
Yeah, it has a dome.
Yeah, so talk to us about this room, what they used it for, and what you're using it for, because what you're using it for is not so different, and what you plan on doing with it.
Well, this would have been their family breakfast, lunch, and maybe even dinner space when they were casually dining. They wouldn't go into the big, heavy space. It gets so much light. There's windows all on one side. It's just a terrific room. It's got this very deep molding, about 8 feet up. So you could even see having platters and things up there to decorate. It also has in it a cabinet which locks. And
was this original?
It is, and you can tell from the Art Deco sort of style to the glass etching that's here. All of these have locks, and it's so funny because here's a key, but there's only one, and all of these locks are different. So it's why you'd have all these different locks, I have no idea. But
so do you think the glass is original?
I do, and I think that all of this stuff was walnut, the walnut color wood. This was an add-on that they added on at some point, this plank thing. And actually when I bought the house, it had Formica over it. So, you know, even though the wood's not in the best of shape right now, I had to eliminate this Formica. I just couldn't deal with it. So yeah, so this, you know, would have been painted. This was for, I'm seeing that it's lockable, so I'm thinking that probably they're expensive dishes, expensive silver, things that they want to keep in there and keep readily accessible. Then they could lock it afterwards, and there would have been a person who was the keeper of the keys. Could be the matron of the house, or could be another person that she employed. I don't know, but all of this would have been locked. And it's strange because these would be silverware drawers, but they don't have locks. So I guess you were just concerned more about the larger pieces or
the crystal,
and it could even be at certain points in our history, certain things were considered very dear. You know, they had tea caddies that locked, and we had wine boxes that locked, and so it could be also that there were certain spices and certain things that they wanted, and they wanted to keep them locked. You know, refined sugar, whatever the case may be. But it's a beautiful room. I love this room. I think the scale is neat. Everybody loves these. This really interesting detail on this arts and crafts tile. They love these rivets that it looks like, you know, this part was just, you know, a riveted surround. So it's sort of strange because it's got kind of a masculine vibe in a way, kind of a heraldic vibe in a way. There's a lot of mixed things in this house. And then once again, it's her favorite blue, which is basically the color of the roof is that blue. So she really, really loved blue, and she put it wherever she wanted to see it in its glory.
Yeah, I would almost call that what we used to call a Confederate blue.
Exactly.
And we were long after the war. You know, the war ended around the Civil War ended around 1865. This house was built in 1912. So what are you planning on? I mean, y'all are using it as a makeshift kitchen right now.
Right.
You're going to use it as your
a dining space.
an informal dining space.
Yeah.
But what are your plans for what you're going to do with the wood and with this fireplace.
Well, I'm gonna
Because this tile comes all the way down.
Right.
And it looks like there was something on the floor around this tile.
Yeah, there was some type of border, and before I just bought this house, you'll see staples in the floor. There was carpeting here.
Oh.
It was kind of, I don't really know what the color was because it was so faded, it was so dirty. I think it was like a gold, but there was a lot of carpeting put over different floor surfaces, and I can understand why they put it over this floor because this floor literally is so beat, it has like no bit of finish left on it at all. But I have a person I'm working with who is an amazing floor finisher, Mr. Bobby Parker, and he is used to working with these floors that are very, very thin wood. They're not thick like we have now where you can sand and sand. So if you go too aggressively, you'll lose the product. So he is an amazing guy, and so we'll restore the floors. I have asked many, many people, I have sent many pictures of this fireplace holding up different wallpapers, holding up different paint, questioning if I should paint the woodwork, questioning if I should try to strip the woodwork. It's a big question. And, you know, originally this had some sort of detail that went horizontal because there's plaster here and plaster here, but there isn't plaster. So when I got the house, there was all these vertical details all around the room that were added to cover the seams in the grass cloth, which is kind of strange because grass cloth, you're supposed to see the seams, but they covered it thinking that wasn't a good thing to see. But when I took it all down, I ended up with these horizontal lines, which I thought that was interesting. It really, they were doing it that way. But I did, you know, purchase a few things for this room as far as pieces of art. And one thing that I did purchase was the Midnight Race on the Mississippi, which is a famous painting. And I bought from a movie studio a prop. And it's a very large painting of that, which I plan to put on this wall over here. And so I'd like this room kind of to be an homage to Mississippi a little bit. I've collected some pottery, I've collected some decanters, some different commemorative plates that are old, not new commemorative plates, very old, 1800s and earlier. And I'd like to kind of have the flavor of the South here. So this room has taken a lot of thought process because it's not that big of a space, but you have still a lot of wall and height in here because of the 12-foot ceilings. So I want to be sure that whatever I pick, it's going to be there for a while. It's a long while because I got a lot of things to fix. So
okay,
I
so
want to make sure I do it right.
about on the fireplace, we have an inset.
Right.
And do you have any idea if that was just a design feature or if it serves some pragmatic purpose?
It literally is a design feature, but it could have held, if this was a wood burning stove prior to turning them to gas, it could be for a match safe. It could be for even holding things like candle snuffers and things that you'd use at the table. I think it'd be cool just to put some kind of really big cool platter in there and, you know,
I love the color of this tile.
Call it a day. I mean, the thing is with this house, you have to make big, bold statements because it is big and bold, and you need for it to have that in order for it to read properly.
So again, just to orient you, what you're seeing out there is Cherry Street, and there's United Cleaners, and you do have another door over here.
Yeah, two actually.
Yep. Oh yeah, there's one right there.
Yeah.
And then you have a little sitting area out there and another staircase that comes up that side.
And that staircase was all enclosed when I bought the house, but the wood was all rotted. I found old interior pictures of this house, and both porches on both sides of the house, which I like to call the ear porches, they were both open. They were not meant to be closed. And I was always having a water problem on that porch, and come to find out there's two drains there and the drains were blocked. So once I opened the drains, voila, the problem was fixed. And I just love it being open because we get This house is high, it's terraced up, it's on a hill. We get wonderful breezes. And I can see how this house would be able to be aerated all during the summer months, because I found out today that even on the doghouse above in the ballroom where the stained glass is there's vents all the way around that for air to flow into the attic. So a lot of consideration was figured out on how to keep this house cool in the south.
Okay, let's wrap up this episode, and then we are going to proceed with, do you call it the ladies' parlor? Or?
Yeah, the formal living room,
Formal
the ladies,
living room.
It definitely is a much more feminine feature of the house. So
Yes.
definitely.
Also one of my favorites.
Yes.
I
mine as
do
well.
want to just kind of, to orient people, show them that this door, so that's the serving room, and behind that was the kitchen. And then this door goes back into the ballroom, and we're back into the heart of the house, and we will stop there and do another episode.
Great.